Subscribers to In the Beginning receive carefully researched ebooks, detailed videos showing real DIY woodworking projects built step by step, and access to exclusive timber-related content that is not published publicly. This channel focuses on understanding timber in its full complexity, learning from historical builders, and applying lessons that ensure wood structures endure for decades, if not centuries. There's a misconception, even among experienced woodworkers, that speed in construction is always a virtue. Modern projects often prioritize rapid completion, using prefabricated timber, power tools, and adhesives that can accelerate assembly. While these methods save time, they frequently compromise the long-term integrity of the structure. Historical builders knew this and deliberately refused to work quickly. Raising the frame was a measured operation, not a race. Even when a structure was assembled on-site, old builders did not rush. Raising a roof, setting beams, and installing flooring were staged events. Each component was left to settle under its own weight, allowing the wood fibers to compress gradually. This slow approach also allowed for inspection, adjustment, and correction of minor issues before they became major failures. Modern construction, in contrast, often lifts entire frames in a single day, relying on temporary fasteners and rigid supports that may shift or stress the timber as it acclimates. Patience in assembly was a strategy to prevent long-term distortion. Slow construction allowed craftsmanship to correct inherent material weaknesses. No piece of timber is perfect. Knots, grain deviations, and minor defects are natural. Old builders identified these features, oriented them carefully, and allowed construction to unfold in a way that minimized their impact. A knot facing tension or a weak grain aligned with compression was a recipe for future failure. By working deliberately, they could adjust placement, rotate components, or reinforce joints gradually. Speed ignores these subtleties, creating structures that may stand initially but fail unexpectedly when natural forces act on imperfect wood. Seasonal observation, really guided their workflow. Builders observed how wood responded not just during cutting, but throughout the seasons. Rain, frost, and heat revealed tendencies for warping, swelling, or shrinkage. Construction was paced to accommodate these responses, with sections of timber staged in controlled environments before installation. Modern methods often rely on artificial conditioning, which may mask but not eliminate natural movement. By refusing to build fast, old carpenters allowed time for observation and adjustment, creating structures that accommodated environmental shifts rather than resisted them. They understood that rushing invites hidden decay. Moisture trapped in hastily installed timber encourages rot and insect infestation. Old builders used slow, staged methods to ensure proper airflow, drying, and seasoning. Floors, walls, and roofs were left temporarily exposed or partially open to allow equilibrium with surrounding humidity. Today, rapid construction often seals wood prematurely, creating microenvironments where decay can silently progress. Slow building was a preventive measure, a method to give the material a chance to adapt, reducing long-term vulnerability. Longevity was built into the schedule, not just the material. Every aspect of historical construction, from felling trees to final assembly, incorporated time as a structural element. This philosophy recognized that speed is the enemy of resilience in timber structures. By pacing work according to material behavior, environmental conditions, and joint adaptation, builders created structures capable of surviving decades or even centuries. Modern emphasis on fast results often sacrifices this invisible layer of protection, making the difference between a temporary shelter and a lasting edifice. Surviving historical buildings prove the wisdom of restraint. Timbers in centuries-old halls, barns, and bridges show signs of gradual adjustment. Slight bowing, compression, and wear along expected lines, all absorbed without catastrophic failure. These adaptations are evidence of intentional pacing during construction. Fast-built structures of the same period rarely survive with comparable integrity. The lesson is clear. Speed may be convenient, but patience ensures durability. Applying old-world pacing to modern projects enhances durability. Even with contemporary tools and engineered materials, the principle remains valuable. Allowing timber to acclimate, joints to settle, and components to adjust reduces long-term stress. Staged assembly, environmental monitoring, and deliberate work rhythms preserve both strength and flexibility. Builders and woodworkers who respect this principle can achieve modern efficiency without sacrificing longevity, combining historical wisdom with contemporary methods. Time was as essential as timber. Old-world carpenters refused to build fast because they understood timber is a living material that requires careful observation, deliberate action, and respect for natural processes. Speed may offer immediate results, but the consequences, warping, splitting, rot, and structural failure, appear over years or decades. Patience, seasonal awareness, and methodical assembly were central to creating structures that endure. For those studying historical methods or building for long-term resilience, this principle is as relevant today as it was centuries ago. For viewers seeking to integrate these lessons, subscribing to the In the Beginning email list provides access to detailed research, step-by-step woodworking projects, and exclusive insights into timber behavior and historical construction methods. Understanding why old builders refused to build fast allows modern woodworkers and historians to replicate resilience, create structures that endure, and appreciate the wisdom embedded in centuries of craftsmanship.